welcome to the Gathering Gurus podcast. We're here with Gary McCrary, our
Hello.
Executive Vice President of Operations and Strategy. Gary, we're so excited to have you on the team and to be expanding our base in the Las Vegas area, and really just want to talk to you today a little bit about relationships and partnerships, and just get some insights from you on just some of the tips and tricks and some of the things that we do to really establish strong relationships in the industry, whether that be hoteliers, audiovisual production companies, DMCs, all of our partners that we work with. Can you kind of just tell us a little bit of your philosophy on relationships and partnerships?
I think they're the most important thing that you need to look at the beginning. I mean, a meeting is about a gathering. It's about a group effort, and that so translates all the way through. It's incredibly important. It takes a village to pull off a meeting, and you can't do it by yourself. You have to rely on partners. You know, at one point, if you've got really good partners that you're working with, you know, we're all human. Everybody makes a mistake every now and again. But a good partner and a great working relationship, you can work together to soften that problem, maybe even make it go away. Or the best thing of all is when you can take a problem that you have on site and turn it into something better than what you even planned to begin with. Yeah. And that you can only do if you have a great partnership with the people you're working with and a trust level.
Yeah, I love that. So how do those partnerships play into the partnership with the client? So we have the client that we're working with, and then we have, you know, hotels, all these other partners that we're working with. At what point do you bring the client into that relationship, or just, I guess, talk a little bit about the client partnership that we have and the vendor partnership, and bringing all those together and ensuring that they're the right fit?
You know, those are, at times, they're two different avenues, and it really depends on the individual and what does your partner client have on their plate, and knowing, you know, okay, this X, Y, and Z I need to bring to the partner. A, B, and C, I need to focus on this and fix this myself with my partners so that your client is able to really focus on what they need to get done and accomplish. And really, everybody is there to support the client. So to me, it's important as the person who's out planning and putting together all the logistics, it's my job to really establish incredibly strong partnerships with all our suppliers so that everyone in a way is a cheerleader for our ultimate client to accomplish their goals. And I think that's the real thing. A partnership, you're establishing it really for your own working relationship, but you really have to keep in mind that your ultimate goal is your client, and what are their goals and what do they want to accomplish.
Yeah, I love what you said there about bringing the partners together to rally for the client. So starting with your long history in hotels, and specifically in Las Vegas, and knowing that we met you in this role when we were planning an event and you were at the hotel. Talk a little bit about how, as a third party now, as GoGather, how do you go into hotels, and when you're working with Gary McCrary at the Venetian, establish that relationship and that partnership from day one when you come in with a site, to make sure that everybody, all the hotel staff, all the vendors, everyone is rallying for the client?
And I think it's incredibly important. I'll have to say that my first official call with GoGather with a hotel was a little bit surreal because, you know, I've spent 25 years on the other side of it. And really the way before I made the call, I really sat and thought about, okay, what are my main goals on this initial call? And really I structured it to, I want to know how the hotel operates. what kind of meetings does your catering manager, CSM, conference manager, whatever the hotel deems that person, what are their set meetings? What do they have on their calendar? So that you can start working with them, and really you need to be able to respect their time and then establish this rhythm of, here's information, I need information back, but being respectful about it. Because I've always found that you get so much more if you take the time to listen to a hotel. And it's critical. And not listening to a hotel will cause so many problems down the line that may not become apparent, but they'll be under the surface for sure. But if you take the time and really learn how the hotel works, what are set things? How do they do, how do they set up bars? How do they inventory beverages? And work with them on that. I'm not saying that you change your standards to whatever the hotel is. You still have to keep the standards of the client to accomplish their goal, because that's the end of it. But there's so many avenues that you can go to accomplish the goal. And working with a supplier rather than against a supplier, it's just critical.
Yeah, I love that. So establishing a respect and a trust through the process, and really helping them understand that we're there to support them.
Absolutely.
And to help them do things the way that they need to internally to help create efficiencies and make this an easier program than might otherwise.
Exactly.
So to change the subject a little bit, like, how have you kind of seen Las Vegas specifically evolve over the years?
Wow. I mean, when I came to Vegas on a handshake, almost kind of sight unseen, a leap of faith. It was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. When I got here, I mean, my former employer, the Venetian, wasn't open, Bellagio wasn't open, Mandalay Bay was not open, Resorts World was a different property, Fontainebleau wasn't open. It was just so, it's transformed so much. And that's the thing about Vegas, is it has always reinvented itself. And it is a city really like no other. The political will here to advance and change and grow and adapt is really like no other city I've ever been in my life. It's exciting, just absolutely amazing. I mean, here we have literally the largest hotels in the world. When I first moved here back in '98, the saying was at the crossroads of Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard, in those quadrants right in there, with MGM Grand, which was the largest hotel in the world at the time, New York, Excalibur, and I think Tropicana, there were more hotel rooms than the entire state of California had, which was just a mind-blowing, and I don't know if that statistic is true or not, but that was the urban legend at the time. Maybe a bit self-promoting for Las Vegas, but hey, that's what Vegas is about. But honestly though, the scale that this city can do, and the infrastructure that's built here with the airport so close, it's just, that's what this place is built for.
Yeah, I love what you said there about Las Vegas just continues to reinvent itself. I think that really relates really well to us and to Go Gather, because we're constantly reinventing ourselves and trying to reinvent our customers' experience and the attendee experience, especially in a time when people are so distracted and attention spans aren't the same. So to kind of have that same philosophy as you've had in Las Vegas throughout the years, as you built and grew with the largest hotel in the world? I mean,
The largest convention hotel in the world.
So talk to us a little bit about navigating hotels specifically in Vegas, right? Because like you said, you're dealing with a completely different size and scale of hotel, of operations, frankly, of a lot of groups that come in and out of here. So So are there specific things that we can think about and talk about that will help us navigate that if we go to the Venetian or Mandalay Bay or Bellagio,
Ario or Fontainebleau or any of these? I mean, Vegas really works where you've got, of course, what everybody thinks of is the gambling, the casino, and that's a very important engine. I mean, when the Venetian was first founded, Mr. Adelson's whole philosophy is that the Venetian would be a twin-engine jet. Groups, one engine, and the casino, the other engine. And it was a pretty good philosophy given how everything's turned out. But that's the thing of this, is that really looking at arrival departure patterns, and what Vegas is trying to do is really kind of marry those two major groups together, where casino typically comes in Friday, departs on Sunday. The ideal pattern at the time was groups would arrive on Sunday and fill the midweek, and that was the formula of how really Vegas worked. Now, everything I'm saying though here changes, because that's the only constant in the universe is change. As Vegas has really gotten into really the sports market, that's causing a whole change in how philosophies are going about rooms. There's different demands, and it's a mixture of all that. But really going back specifically to the group piece, after the success of the Venetian, every hotel in Las Vegas put in major amounts of space. I mean, when I first came here, if one property had a fight come in, all of a sudden the group that had like the ballroom is like, oh, well, we're going to exercise our contract. So, I mean, nothing illegal. Everybody agreed to this, but the group had to be moved, kind of thing. That doesn't happen at all anymore, because group business is incredibly respected in this city. The city understands the importance of group business. It values it. I mean, the amount of infrastructure that's been built in the city for groups is absolutely enormous. I mean, you won't find it anywhere else in the United States, the capabilities that exist in this city.
Yeah, you don't find it anywhere in the world. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that groups can sometimes make in coming to Vegas or booking in Vegas? Is it not being open and looking for the pattern that stays away from the casino guests? Is it taking a 15-person meeting to a space that has 2 million square feet and getting lost? Or what would you say some of the things are that?
That is kind of the trick to it, because each of the major properties here have their inherent strengths, and they have areas that they haven't really focused on in terms of those markets. And I think that's what's amazing about this place. I mean, at my former property, largest, our bread and butter business was groups under 300 rooms, surprisingly enough. And the real trick of the city is those hotels that are out there that can take and make a small group in an enormous ocean feel important and valued. And a lot of that has to do with like picking the right space. Most of the time, the sales manager, they're going to go through and they're going to do that, because they're not going to want to book a small group in an enormous space and have it not work out right, because that's not good. That's not good for anyone. But I will say that when the city's very, very, very full, and you start looking at this, and this is what's left, and sometimes, I think that's when you kind of need to really look at the space. Does it make sense? Is it in an area of the meeting complex that is a little bit remote? Because a lot of these spaces, they will have enormous space blocks that lay out, but then they'll have a section of the floor that has smaller rooms and things like that. And I tend to find that if you're a smaller group, if you can get that kind of space, it works out great, because now you have just the enormous resources of this massive hotel really at your disposal on the floor. And a lot of that goes to, how your planners have set things up. do they know the banquet manager? Do they know the captains? Do they know the servers that are out on the floor? It's just amazing how that all works. And the other thing that's really interesting, I think, here from a labor perspective in a way, is that all the banquet servers, they work for different properties. So you'll have a section of servers that are called the regular list, and these individuals only work for that property. And that can range from maybe a core staff of 10 to a core staff of 48. Then the next list you'll have is like an upper B list, and then you have on-call lists. Well, if you're not in that first core, you're literally putting your schedule together. One day you'll work at Wynn, the next day you might work at Resorts World, the next day you might work at Mandalay Bay. And it's the sharing of staff that are very well trained, very competent. And I would say when they go to the different properties, there are different standards that these individuals have to remember and adhere to in each one. But what you end up with is an incredibly well-trained team of people that you can rely on.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, Las Vegas as a whole has to be the best place in the world for hospitality labor on all levels, right? And then our friends at the International School of Hospitality do a lot of training and really help develop that within some of the bigger resorts. And I think something you said there about the finding the right fit of a smaller group at a larger hotel goes right back to what we started talking about today, which is partnerships, and making sure that we have the right partnerships and the right relationships to ensure our clients are feeling comfortable when they come into a site inspection and know that they're getting the right space for their specific group. So just one last question just about Las Vegas, and I think we kind of talked about it in that with these big hotels, but what are some common misconceptions that folks might have about coming to Vegas and bringing their group to Vegas?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if you come to Vegas, your attendees won't show up. They'll go out partying all night, they'll come in with hangovers, and they'll be drunk, and you're not going to get anything done. That was certainly the storyline that I used when I was in Dallas, saying, no, you want to come to Dallas, you don't want to go to Vegas, it's just not going to work out for you. But in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Statistically, Vegas proves that when Vegas is on the agenda, attendances go up. That's actually why Mr. Adelson decided he was going to build the Venetian. He brought Comdex around and came to Vegas and saw all of a sudden there were spikes in the attendance. And it's like, I'm onto something. And it went through, and that statistic really still holds true today. The other thing that I found is that, yes, people go out and party at night afterwards, but that will happen in any
anywhere.
city. That segment of your population, which is there, and God bless them, that's going to happen in Dallas. It'll happen in New York. It'll happen in Chicago.
We've had it happen in Virginia Beach. I mean, it's
I mean, that happens. So one thing I will say about that is when you're planning events and stuff, really be smart about it. On opening night, people are excited to get in the city. Have your welcome reception, but don't have it go all night.
Right.
A, it's more economical for you, and B, you're harnessing the resources of this city that are all built to entertain your guests. And I think that's one thing that I see a lot. And another thing is if it works into your schedule, have a free night as well, kind of thing. But the whole adage that nobody's going to show up and all of that, it's just not. It doesn't really hold true.
Yeah, there's so much to do in Las Vegas, and I love the idea of maybe you host a brief welcome reception, but if networking is really part of what you want to do, maybe you arrange smaller groups at different restaurants for dinner or different activities.
I mean, the hotels here It's incredible. You can put together dine-arounds and never leave the property that you're at because of what these complexes offer just within the four
And
walls.
I mean, could be in Michelin-starred restaurants.
Oh, that is one thing that's amazing. When I first came to Vegas, I would literally go to the grocery stores and I couldn't find really the produce. Nothing was very good. And I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, well, maybe the hotels are all using all this. But the food scene here in Vegas it's literally mind-blowing today. You can get pretty much, I mean, so many Michelin 5 stars, everything out there. Michelin 3 star, we still have one of those, Michelin 1 and 2, and then, Forbes 5 star. They're littered throughout this area. And then there's also some really hidden gems that are a little bit off the strip too, which really can make for another interesting evening, offsite.
Yeah, and I think that the misconception about losing attendees and losing people coming to Vegas, I think for specific industries and types of events, especially, we see that franchisors where they need an exciting destination for their attendees to want to be there and to want to learn and want to grow. For associations that have members that maybe they wouldn't go if they were in some second-tier city in the middle of the United States, but
Right.
coming to Las Vegas, they will, because there's so much to do. There's so much good food, and external, client-facing events as well. The draw of coming to Las Vegas and the ease of getting here.
Well, and not to mention the airlift into the city
Yes.
is really like no other. I mean,
Yeah.
it is really impressive how much airlift this city has and how easy it is to actually get here.
Yeah, I think, thank you so much, Gary. I mean, this has been a great conversation. Obviously, we have these conversations every day, but we're really excited about our Las Vegas base and just really the ability to grow our business in Las Vegas and utilize the minds and the resources of you and your network that you've grown for the last 25 years here in Las Vegas to really help take us to new heights and reinvent what our customers are doing.
Yeah. It is an amazing city of caring professionals that are here. That, this isn't a part-time, like when I was talking about banquet waiters, it's not a part-time job for them. It is literally a career. And that's what this city is all about. It's about hospitality and entertainment.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.